Hello there, it's Carrie Rhoades here. Welcome back to the Trinity Stamps YouTube channel. Today I get to share with you the A2 Envelope Builder die set. I'm going to share with you some tips and tricks and fun ways to use it. So this is the die set right here. You can see it's very large. This biggest die right here is almost 11 inches long and 6 inches wide. There are two dies that you're going to pair with this to make the side flaps of the envelope, and this will fit an A2 size card, which is 5.5 by 4 1/4 when closed. There's also a die here to create an envelope liner that's a full liner, and because of that there's no score line on that envelope base at the top flap. So I'll show you how that works as we get through this video. There's also this scalloped square or rectangle here that is card front size, but also can be used on your envelope. We have words with shadow layers, and we also have some stamp shapes. So cute. All right, so here you can see all three pieces that we need for our envelope on an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. You can run them through like this if you have a very large die cutting machine. If you don't, you're going to cut your 8.5 by 11 cardstock down. I'll show you how to do that so you can use it with your machine if you don't have a big one. But here's those three pieces die cut out. There's going to be scored lines on those side flaps and a score line at the bottom, and you just attach those flaps to the side. Okay, so this is cut down to 6 inches by 11 inches. I'm going to tape this down because it's kind of a snug fit for this envelope, and I don't want it to move off and then I won't be able to use it. Then I have the extra piece I can use for the side flaps. Now, if you're using a traditional style die cutting machine, it will fit edge to edge, but it is longer than your plates. Even the universal plate from Spellbinders, which I'm using here, it extends off of the base. So what I'm going to have to do is run it through, reposition it, and run it through again so it will cut the bottom part of that envelope. No problem, really. A lot of times I run things through my die machine and back, so it's not a big deal to have to run it through twice at all. And then you have your envelope, and then you'll just run those side pieces through separately, and I put them on my die machine die cutting platform actually at an angle, and I'll show you that because it just ran through a lot better like that. And you could cut that piece in half and run them side by side, whatever, however it works for you. All right, so now we're going to fold on those scored lines, and I'm using the Teflon crease tool from Trinity Stamps to really press those down. And I like doing this beforehand so that they are like ready to go, already easily movable. You know what I mean? Like you can fold them easy. Yeah, I want them to move. And then I did that bottom flap. That's all the score lines we have. Next, we're going to take some rip and stick tape and put it right on those flaps. You're putting it on what I would consider the front side. And then we're going to use our tool to take the backing off. This is so handy to use that pickup tool that way. And then rather than stick it down like this, it's hard to see if you've got it lined up. What I like to do is actually have it folded and line the fold up with the edge. So try that when you're lining this up. I think it works a lot better to do it like this, where I can line up the fold with the edge of the envelope. And then you can adhere it down just like that. This one I'm not going to adhere. I do want to do the envelope liner first. So you're going to need about 7 inches of paper. This is patterned paper that I have in my stash in order to get the full envelope liner. So it's going to line the whole back of the envelope and that flap. And it is going to give you a little bit of a border around the edge. So let's glue this down. You can see what it looks like when it's in place. I love to have a liner. Like if you're going to make a custom envelope, why not have a liner, right? It's so fun. Of course, you can use double-sided scrapbook paper if it's a good weight, and then you have a color and a pattern on the outside and the inside. Okay, so there is a scored line in that envelope liner. So I just put my T-square ruler up against that, ran my little crease tool alongside my ruler, and then I've got a crease in that top flap of my envelope. Now, I think I could have scooted it up a tiny bit, but it interferes with those side flaps a little bit. So I'm not going to adhere this down. I'm going to have it open kind of like a present, and you'll see why as we move along. It's going to be very customized. Now I'm taking that scrap. This is about 5 inches, and I'm just cutting a partial liner. And that's still going to work because my second envelope is going to be closed up. I'm not going to be able to open it like a present. So that way I don't need to worry about having the whole liner. So feel free to pull out your 6x6 paper when you're doing this, and it will work great with a little bit smaller size. You can use up those smaller pieces of paper. So again, I'm going to use my scoring tool and my T-square ruler to make a scored line for the top of the envelope. I find this very easy to do, and I don't find it a deal breaker that there's no score line there. If there was a score line in the envelope, we wouldn't be able to do that full liner. So yeah, it works out pretty good. Not really hard to do at all. All right, so now I'm putting adhesive on the large flap of my envelope and folding that over and pressing it down onto those side flaps. And that's what the traditional envelope looks like. It's so gorgeous having a coordinating envelope with your card. I just love it. So next, let's look at that little piece there that is the scalloped rectangle, and that piece we're going to cut from white cardstock. And then you can see that not only is this nice and scalloped, but we've got those little cutouts in each of the scallops, which are so cute. So this can be your card front, but you can also use it on the front of your envelope. It's so cute. And then save the frame because the frame works on the front of the envelope as well. That looks pretty cool. I'm going to show you both of those on my cards today. But first I wanted to show you what these little stamps look like. They have an embossed line, and then they have that kind of rick-racky edge that we know from postage stamps. So I die cut one from matching cardstock, and I'm going to just stick that down for fun. Then let's look at those word dies. So we have a shadow layer I die cut from light blue, and then I have some white glitter paper that I backed with our rip and stick sheets. So that's going to make my die cut word have adhesive on the back, and it's going to stick down so easy because these words are very thin. So sticking glue on there could be, you know, not as fun. So I like to use the rip and stick sheets. It makes it so easy to do. And I'm going to just layer the word hi over the top and press out that little tittle for the top of my eye. Did you know that's what it's called? A tittle? T-I-D-D-L-E? It's really cute. All right, so I'm going to put the word hi on the corner of my envelope flap. I thought that was a really cute little place to stick that. I think it's fun when somebody opens the envelope to have something cute on that side. All right, so next I am going to add a second postage stamp. It just was looking a little bare. I wanted a little blue on the front, so I added a second one. All right, next I die cut this rectangle from some red cardstock. I'm going to use that negative piece, and the cardstock is 5 3/4 by 4 3/8, so it's almost the exact size as the front of my envelope. And I'm going to make a shaker. Now when I was recording this, sometimes you think you hit record and you stop it. That's what happened here. So I added a window sheet to the back of this frame, and now I'm using the Trinity Stamps adhesive foam strips to go all the way around this frame, and that's going to make sure that none of my shaker bits escape because all the ends are touching. I used some anti-static powder, and then I removed the backing. I actually put some sequins in there and backed it with some of that decorative paper and added it to the front of my card. So the sequin mix that I'm using is brand new from the shop. I'm going to show you that. We actually have 3 new embellishments at Trinity Stamps, and so because I didn't record that part of it, I'm just going to show you this right here. So to top that off, I'll have all those embellishments linked for you below so you can check out the new embellishments. But to top my envelope off, I'm using the Simply Sentimental Mary. I'm going to use the stamped ones. The stamped ones are on the left and the die cut ones are on the right. There's also a Simply Sentimental Christmas. It's really cool. I also use the rip and stick sheets for this. So handy. All right, so I'm using the Merry and the Christmas that have the letters that are open. And if you didn't know this, we do have a stamp set alphabet of this font and die set. So you can die cut any word you want, back it with the shadow layer, or stamp it out and stick it onto a shadow where each letter has its own shadow. It's very cool. But I'm going to color these kind of in an ombre. So I showed you the markers that I'm using, and I will have them up there on the screen as I color. I'm just going to go 2 letters on each so you can kind of get a feel for this. But I love this stamp set exactly for this reason, that I can color part of the letter in to match my card. I love it so much. So now let's move on to Christmas. I decided I would do red on that one. So I'm kind of just pulling in the colors from my patterned paper. That was the inspiration for my color scheme today, was the snowflakes on that paper. I think envelopes is a really good way to use up your pattern paper, even if you're just putting it on the inside. I know we tend to hoard these things, but let's use them. Let's share them with the world, and using it will also make you happy. I promise. Plus, there's always more pattern paper to buy, isn't there? Yeah. All right, so there it is colored up. So pretty with the red. And I think they look fabulous together, the red and the blue. And we've got the white and the light blue sequins. It's just so pretty. So I love that on top of the shaker. And I love that the envelope can be a shaker. Now, obviously, this is probably not an envelope I'm going to put postage on and mail. I feel like this is the kind of card that you hand deliver or goes in with a present that you give someone. So I'm making it just as thick as I want it to be. Yeah. Okay, we're adding the words "to you," also from the envelope builder set, and I'm going to do the same glitter paper, but this time on the envelope. I'm going to put them side by side and move them up a little bit, and I thought that was a really cute spot for this. So this card, you see Merry Christmas on the front and then "to you" on the flap. Then I'm going to add a postage stamp to this one as well. This one is almost square, kind of like like a forever stamp size. And then I am going to do some more stamping with our Insider Sentiments. There's an Insider die set as well, and it die cuts out these gorgeous label-like frames. Just had to show you that before I got into it because I think it's really cool. There's a bunch of sentiments here you can add to the inside of your card. Mine says, "Not even Santa could bring a better friend." Isn't that cute? I love it. It's one of my favorite sentiments in this set. So there you can see the nice like label border. I'm going to add this to that top flap right there of my envelope. It's perfect. Also in this set we have hearts and like a little bright shine or star, and then snowflakes. So I'm going to die cut those out after stamping them in some coordinating ink, and they're going to dress up my envelope. So I'm going to put one of them, look how cute, it's perfect, one of them on my postage stamp, and the other one's going to go on the corner of my envelope, right on that point. I think it's a cute spot to put something. If you are into wax sealing, I think adding a wax seal to a handmade envelope is just perfection. All right, so I have another sentiment from the same Insider Sentiments. Season's greetings. I can't read it when my hand's in the way. With many good wishes for Christmas and the coming year. I thought that was a really nice sentiment for the front, and it kind of looks like an address, like it's inspired by an address on the front because it's got the 3 lines. So I thought it looked really cute there. For the stamps on this one, I am stamping out a heart, and there is a coordinating die for that as well. So I'll die cut that out and then add that to my larger postage stamp, and it just makes it, having that die cut heart there is just too cute. And then for the smaller stamp, I'm going to stamp one of the smallest Marys from that Simply Sentimental Mary right on it, but to the side. I think it looks so cute. So that's the front of this envelope, and there you can see both of them side by side. And if you want to see the card that I made to go in my shaker envelope, I'm going to have a YouTube short video for that tomorrow. So tune back in to the Trinity Stamps channel tomorrow and you'll see how I made the card. I am going to show you the card. I'm just not going to show you how I made it. That's going to be in a short video tomorrow. So here's that card. It is so cute with that little penguin sliding down the polar bear. Yeah, it's Freezing Friends, I think is the name of this set. I used another Insider sentiment there and the snowflake stamped in the background. I've got a snowflake stencil on the front. I use the bitty labels or tags. So good. But it's a shaker card and it's very thick. So what I'm doing is making my envelope more like a box. I am scoring this with my crease tool and my ruler, lining up like the little hash lines on the ruler so that the hash lines are at the edge of my pattern paper, and then scoring it and folding it over the ruler. And I will do the top flap as well. And this is going to allow my card to have a lot of room. I have this really thick card, a really thick envelope, and it all is going to work together because I can customize it like that, right? All right, so now I am adding a piece of Velcro as a closure for this. So when you open this, it does not have to be stuck down like a normal envelope would. I like just opening it up like that, but you could seal it down too if you wanted. So I think it works great. Also, my envelope liner where it was creased kind of separated, and so I just had to add a little bit of glue there so I didn't have a loose piece of paper on the inside. And then I did end up adding a piece of Velcro to the red envelope too. This is really thin Velcro. I found like while I was shopping one day, like a bunch of years ago, it was on clearance and I bought a lot of it. So I would have it for such projects as this. But I just wanted to thank you guys so much for stopping by, and thank you for all your love during our release. We just had our release on Thursday and we have hops going on. So if you haven't checked those out, be sure to do that. You can find all the links on our full release video right here on the Trinity Stamps channel. And I will be back again very soon tomorrow with that short video for you. See you then, and happy stamping. Bye.